Silence fills the theater. The audience stares, captivated at the spectacle unfolding before them. For the first time in the play, the two leads meet. The journey here has been dazzling, but the onlookers wait, breath-baited, for the best yet remains. The curtains close on Act 1. Stunned spectators marvel at what they've beheld, anticipating an ever greater performance following the intermission. Only, it never ends. What's cracking, guys? Samix607 here, throwing at you the Untold Sagas Episode 1, Actage. This collaborative work, featuring a story by Matsuki Tatsuya and art by Usazaki Shiro, was a hit manga serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine that first hit the shelves on the 22nd of January 2018 and last saw print on the 11th of August 2020, spanning a total of 123 chapters across 12 volumes, and reading it was the most captivating experience I've had since slavery. Yonagi Kei, the star of today's tale, is a fascinating one. Best known for her roles in the movie Death Island and the stage dramas Night on the Galactic Railroad and Princess Iron Fan, it would be an insult to call her talent merely generational. You see, what makes her special is her ability to use method acting. Innumerable hours spent watching the collection of films her father left behind awoke in her the ability to connect the experiences of others to her own emotions. With a litany of scenes committed to her memory, a simple prompt hardly a sentence long becomes enough to transform her from the high schooler Yonagi into whatever the mold she's been jammed into desires. I say this literally. Her greatest strength happens also to be the most fatal of her flaws. Upon adopting her role, her reasoning devolves to match that of an infant, Kanye West, or some other underdeveloped intellect. A new set of values, personality traits, and flaws take her over. In becoming the character she so sought to emulate, she ruins the productions she so wished to uplift. From destroying the set for tools of self-defense to attacking her unsuspecting co-stars, she loses herself. What use is her talent if it does not align with the very thing she wishes to use it for? Should the script compromise to match her version of the character, or should she be untrue to herself and her emotions in order to dazzle the next generation of aspiring talent the way others once did for her? Should she continue to work towards her goal despite the opposition she faces on this path, clawing at her mental health and leading her only to ruin? Actage is one long, continuous character arc our protagonist spends in search of self-discovery, all while trying herself to be discovered by others. Luckily enough, though not by the vast population she had anticipated, this happens before long. A little-known, though well-acclaimed director, Kuroyama Sumiji, happens upon her during one of her, presumably many, unsuccessful auditions. Despite her flaws, he sees promise and takes it upon himself to turn this uncut gem into a star. Also, one day, she can star in a movie he assures will be his greatest. Thus begins Yonagi's road to the big screen. Though the story may sound simple and straightforward, as with Jesus Christ, the beauty was in how it was executed. Despite the low-budget sound design and terrible voice acting, the cast was entirely inaudible. The art was nothing short of breathtaking, and I don't mean this in the way that solo leveling is made more tolerable by the pretty colors. The impact of every key dramatic moment in the story is elevated several-fold by the insane visual delivery that brings the scene to life. From warming my heart to sending shivers down my spine and everything in between, the payoffs after every period of suspense and the punchline to every joke imitates the feeling of having front row seats in a high-end theater as you watch your nearest and dearest put on a show for thousands. This and the strong, mostly enjoyable cast, who all complement in different ways Yonagi's character, made you feel more like an intimate associate of every character on the page than a mere reader. And I think that is what I loved about it. Everything feels real. The character writing is consistent and much of the cast is comprised of believable people. Actual human beings with flaws who communicate to clear up misunderstandings and have feelings that extend beyond the boundaries set by their archetypes. These are all things I ask out of a story, and though they may seem simple, so few manga and anime actually achieve this. Unfortunately, this comes at the cost of dissatisfying execution in other regards. Actage is cringe. It may not be all the time, but when it is, it goes all out. The problem, beyond those presented to their characters, with the protagonist that completely turns into someone else once the curtains are drawn, is that you find yourself watching ridiculous situations unfold. From fighting non-existent wolves to protect her family, to throwing up and needing medical attention on set after seeing a classmate killed by a plastic prop. The sheer degree to which she pushes herself tests your suspension of disbelief regardless of its necessity to the story. And while I'm nitpicking, another issue I have is with the supporting cast. Although lovable, they fly in and out of the story faster than McDonald's turns over employees, and quite frankly, it's disorienting. At the beginning of every arc, you have to say goodbye to all those characters you finally come to love and be introduced to an entirely new roster of unknowns whose intentions you dedicate brainpower to discerning because you're trying to make sure they aren't out to hurt our hobbling heroine. Aware though I may be that getting cast in different to collaborate with different people, I feel like this is one of those few places where the standard manga plot convenience would serve to better the experience for the readers and allowing them to enjoy the presence of their favorite characters more commonly. Perhaps this was to be spun in an exciting way and was the mangaka's chosen method of introducing us all to the characters intended to be relevant throughout the story early on. But we will never have any way of knowing. For this, the first entry of the Untold Sagas, we have the classic example of the cancelled manga series, condemned by Shueisha and Weekly Shonen Jump magazine to never see print again. This decision was made at the peak of Actage's popularity and was a commendable move, following a series of sexual harassment cases by Matsuki targeting underage girls. I will not speak further on the obviously detestable act, which cannot in any way be justified, but there are several online articles you can find simply by giving his name a quick Google search. It goes without saying that we should not expect a continuation to this series, which is a shame as he derailed his partner's career as well. But going by what we do have, I believe Actage is certainly a worthwhile read. 78 marks of 100 awarded. If you're turned off from the story by what Matsuki did, I don't blame you. I didn't find out what he'd been charged with until after I'd read it. I can't honestly say whether I'd still have given it a chance. But I don't regret reading it. I don't want to discredit the effort his entire team put into the creation of this wonderful piece because of his actions as an individual, so I hope you do at least consider it. And with that, we've reached the end of this week's Manga Monday. Can't say for certain how long it'll last given last video's announcement and the day job I am to start tomorrow, as of the day of recording, but I hope you have and will enjoy it while it does. Goodbye, my mountain hermits. This has been Samuel607, logging out.